Hey guys, this is Lisa. Sorry it's been a while since I've been here. I don't know. There's a lot going to it. I'll go into it in my other videos, but this video is about the divine feminine and Sophia. So if I had to explain, some of you guys already know, and the Catholic Church, when I do research her, goes into a lot of information on her. So I found out about Sophia, which is basically God is the masculine. We are in a duality, right? We're in a dual world. There's no way. There's no yin to that yang. There's no way. Okay. So, with that being said, Sophia is the divine counterpart to God. So, God, goddess energy, but the major overarching of the oneness. And she's here. So, she was introduced to me about a year ago, and I researched into her. And then most recently, a colleague of mine, her name's Lalantia Makana. I like her because she works with dragons and she does really, really powerful energy healings. I actually like energy healings that are powerful because I know the more powerful they are, even if I fall out or I get knocked out or it makes me woozy, I know the more powerful they are, the more it's upgrading me. So I appreciate people who are like that, and she's really powerful. She the other day something came up in my feed randomly, and it was Sophia, and we did a little meeting, and I got and I was like formally introduced through a healing. Sophia stepped forward and did a healing, but mine kept going right past what she did. Sophia was like, "Nah, you gonna know me, girl." Okay, so um, then I went to bed and I asked one question, and I wanted to give you this message. So you guys, all of you guys, the reason dream recall is so important is because before you're clairvoyant, before you can do all this stuff. If you wanted to right now, and I actually talk about this in my workshop, Introduction to Channeling, if you wanted to right now, you can start communicating with your spirit guides and spirit team through your dreams. That's the easiest way. And I still do this, even though I can channel. I can channel written, I can channel through just speaking and getting validation and confirmation. I still do it in my dreams because some things are like, okay, I need to go into a channeling session and ask about it. Like if it's a question about my daughter and her health and my concerns because I have an ex-husband who's not as awakened. That I'll channel on because that's guidance I need because I don't know his mind, but I have to work with them. But my daughter, right? But there's other things that aren't like a need in my like right now, but I just want to know. That's when I'll do it in the dream. So that's why dream recall is so important. You guys really need to start using that guidance because before you go to sleep, you can go spirit guides, guardian angels, higher self. Tell me what I need to know for my business. Tell me what I need to know for this relationship. Tell me the guidance, da 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 da. And you're gonna get it. That's why dream recall is so important. So even though I wasn't good at it, that's why I spent the last couple of years becoming good at it and having the dream journal. And with this increasing frequency has been a lot easier. When I do remember, it's like a whole scene, and I don't drop in it. So that's really good. So who's Divine Sophia? So that night, I'm like, okay, I met you. That's great. And I asked my higher self and all my spirit guides, how am I, or how can I work with Sophia, the divine feminine counterpart to what you guys understand as God. In these circles, we call it the oneness of the oneness of the oneness. You a psychic? Psychic just means spiritual or like soul. So I mean, we're all psychic to some extent. Do I have spiritual gifts? Yes. Can I channel my ancestors, angels, other spiritual beings, galactic beings? Yes. Can you do it? Yes. If you wanted to do it, I literally teach people how to do it. So it's not something that's just for me, but if you want to take the time to develop it, you take the time to develop it, right? So Tommy Jones, you can be a psychic. Do you want to be? Do you want to spend that time? I think it's been the greatest gift I've ever had, and my life reflects the fact that I have higher spiritual guidance. My life, my money, my business, the people, my relationships, my magic, all of it shows that like having access to guidance on a higher plane will make your life better because we are spiritual beings, and I'm just channeling all the powers of my spiritual beings into my life. So yeah, I have an introduction to channeling class. I have a how magic works class. I'm also going to do one on divine feminine and dating soon. So if you want to learn, Tommy Jones, I can tell you're Caucasian man because you guys are the most disconnected from source as can be. All your senses dulled, so it's hard for you to understand that other people have it. Born from a kid being able to feel, sense, know energy, and you don't. So it's hard for you to understand. And I am having a good day, Mercury. But yeah, if you want to do it for the lottery, yeah, there's other things that are more important. Just do it to like learn how to you make money yourself. Learn how to better your life rather than the lottery. Learn tapping to spiritual guidance, learning how to channel so you can go, okay, what's in my best interest to do better in my life? What's in my best interest to have more money? What's in my best interest to get a bigger house, right? Like you can do the lottery, but I'm telling you, that can work definitely, but it's going to be easier for you to focus on asking that higher self, asking that spiritual guide for guidance on your everyday life will be easier than you trying to win the mega millions. But yes, it is possible. But I'd rather you work on getting whatever you want inside versus outside, right? Divine Feminine and Sophia. So Sophia is the counterpart to God, the oneness of the oneness of the oneness, as one of my students told me one time. And she's here. We are entering into the age of the Divine Feminine. Happy New Year, G Money. So we're entering into the age of the Divine Feminine. I don't think y'all know what that means. I've been talking about it, but y'all have no clue. That God counterpart, the Sophia, is here. She's here and she's reaching out to different people and mediums and channelers who are open and can communicate and can channel, because we're generally the first people to receive the message and then everyone else it percolates. But like those who can receive the information and understand it are always the first people to, especially in the spiritual world. So I asked her how can I work with her? What can I do? What's going on? And what I got was this in the dream. So this was the dream message. And the dream message was us as women. And this was actually very interesting. She was like, us as women need to hold back and withhold from the men until they get their act right. And I know that's such an interesting thing, but it was like we need to hold back, get into our feminine energy, sit back and observe, and hold all the men to our higher standard, and do not let them have access to our womb and body until they show that they are willing to step up and put the effort in, not be so free and so loose, which is funny. You're like Divine Feminine. You think like your femininity, right? But in that responsibility is that when we are in our feminine and we're sitting back and observing, we're not just letting anyone enter. And we're not letting just anyone enter. You have standards. When every woman rises up and the level of their standards they have, since we are so integral to what men want, it forces them to become better people. So in order for the men to get better, we have to start withholding. And this makes sense. There's literally, was it Lystrata? That's actually a Greek play I randomly watched. Was like when all the women withheld sex from the men in order to get them to become better people. The message I got was us being in our Divine Feminine, sitting back and resting and observing is cutting off. It was all about cutting off access until they can do better. So it's a yin and a yang, right? One doesn't go without the other. The message I received was like, we have to be more discerning, and we can't just let them all up in this as a whole, as a womanhood. And in that, it makes the men rise higher, because then they have to provide more, which is the men's role anyways, do more in order to get access, compete more, which is a masculine energy anyway. In order for them to have access, it raises everyone up. So that was very interesting. That was the message. Now it really does. Now I've done a lot of talks on the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. And if you look at my Divine Feminine talks, I'm like, look, being in my Divine Feminine when I'm dating, that means I'm just sitting back watching you. And I'm going to do this for, some time. Like, it's not about instant attraction. That's men. Women in your femininity, it's about that long, slow process, throwing out how you feel about something, what you need, what you want, what you're excited about, what you're sad about, and watching and observing what they do. So instead of rushing into a relationship or exclusivity or boyfriend, girlfriend, sit back and date and really sit and observe in your feminine entity how they act and react. And so I've been taking that on, which means I'm not trying to just sleep with anyone, right? I'm not trying to do all that. Like, I am really sitting back, pacing the cells, like, because I'm really taking on the Divine Feminine in my dating world now. And I'm having a great time. I'll tell you guys more about that on the next video. But it is about sitting back and not just letting anyone get the keys to the castle. Like, it really is about throw something out, see how they react, throw something else out. Instead of getting mad immediately, sit back, see how you feel about it, take some time to discuss, not being reactionary. right? They say something, you're immediately triggered. Having the space to dilute it, understand it, express how you feel. Okay, if you didn't like it, I feel really uncomfortable you did that. And being brave enough to say that to the man, like, I don't feel comfortable when you just said that, and I'm not that kind of person. And then instead of not saying it and then sitting back and watching them, do they care? Do they go, whatever, I don't care? Or do they go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that? And then their actions show that they really are trying to do better. And all of this in that divine feminine energy makes the environment where they have to step up in order to continue along, because you are very open about expressing your feelings and you're not hiding it. So to get from Holy Sophia, it was very clear, like, because sometimes you get messages, you're like, is this what it meant? And I need to stop doing that, because they're always like, yes. I'm like, okay, I need to stop doubting that. But I'll ask again, though, just in case, although I do that less and less now. But she was like, listen, we're going to have to hold the men to a higher standard before they get access. And that means in love, sex, marriage, all of it. So the age of the divine feminine is coming in, and her message to the women, be discerning. It's the only way men who want the women will rise up, will compete, and in that competition and in that rising up become better. But then when they become better, they lead us, and it's yin and yang. So is it like, what comes first, right? When you rise up, we rise up, great. But when we hold back and discerning, and you're hold back and discerning, it makes everyone rise. But it's yin and yang. It's not, divine feminine is not about we're going to rule. It's about when we do this, they do this. When they do this, this is this. When this happens, and we all rise together, right? So I don't want you guys to think it's about feminism, divine feminine. It's actually about activating the masculine to do better. Everything I've discussed about that. And I would really take the time to look at my other trainings on the divine feminine. And I'm just going to say this, why I've been talking about the divine feminine so long. The other day I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, why? Because I have if I wake up at 3:30 and I can't go back to sleep, I'm aware at the level that I am and how attuned I am. I know for me, that's like, you wanted me to wake up, why? So I'll ask. Right? So I can ask my intuition, like, what was the point of that? And I know within a few minutes, I'll get an answer, and it'll come to me, just as long as, when I quiet my mind and I'm not too pushy. That's just how it works to me. It filters through whatever psychic senses, and it comes. And then all of a sudden, like 2 minutes later, I was like, I need to make an outline of a book on divine feminine and dating. So I'm talking about it a lot, but the thing is, they've been preparing me for the last year and a half. I've been working for the Shun. I've been doing this with the soul, all of that. And so I wrote a whole outline to a book on divine feminine and dating, like at 3:30 in the morning the other day, right? So it is top of mind, but it makes sense. And what I'm trying to give you guys are like the tools of what the energy is and what's going on, so you can contextualize it, but also work with it and not against it. So I'm going to go ahead and see what some of these comments are. Hey, Lisa, hope you're having a nice day. I am. Thank you. Thank you, G Money. Funny. My take is women should be less masculine. Yeah. Okay. I don't like practicing the divine feminine and being in your feminine and sitting back and observing is actually very feminine. We're supposed to attract, not go out and get, right? That's why we use beauty. That's an attractive force. That's why we use magic, our womb, creation, right? Manifesting, that attracts to us, right? So, maybe we just have our wires crossed on but that still puts you in a masculine role. G Money, sitting back and observing and having standards and boundaries. No, it doesn't. Masculine is logic. It's all about the mind. It's not like I'm not logical, right? Look at my life. I'm logical, but it's not about that. It's about primordially, right? Primordial. Before we were even incarnated, there's a yin and a yang. And the yang is action. Go get it. We need to do this. Go make it happen. Provider, protector, right? The woman's role primordially in her femininity is attraction. So it's if I had to say, if that was physically, that's observing, that's feeling what you feel, it's saying what you feel. It's observing to see if the masculine responds to it. It is opening the womb energy up. It is having compassion, because there's different aspects of the divine feminine. There's a spiritual divine, backing off and letting people have their own life as part of the divine feminine. Self-care is a divine feminine. Like, it's literally like you are supposed to take care of yourself and show others it's okay to relax, right, into your femininity. So the divine feminine is to sit back and observe, but you feel and express your boundaries. So basically, the relationships that, and I'm doing this now in my dating, and I'm telling you, not only with the guys I date, it works, but also the men I am not dating are responding to my feminine energy, but not in a weird way. It is definitely like, I'll tell you guys, I'm doing another video, but they can feel it. But it's, I feel as a woman, so me saying I feel very unhappy about it, or I feel happy, or I like this, or I appreciate it, or just being very open about what's going on in their body and their intuition. And the men hearing that will have an action. They'll have no action. Maybe they are like, oh, you're cold, let me give you a jacket. Or, she's cold, but I don't care. Or like, it's cold, like, go get a jacket, right? And we're supposed to observe that as the feminine to see at the end of the day, I expressed how I feel, my boundaries. Is this the person I should let have access? Because did they care? Did they not care? And if they don't care, is that the kind of person I would like to let in? So we're supposed to be more slow and methodical. There's other things to it too. I literally have done about 4 hours worth of explaining these different nuances. It's too big for just a quick section. I just did that to give you the overall basic of primordially how we were made. And honestly, every woman I know, because I'm in a lot of divine feminine for relationships and just for divine feminine, everyone who activates this gets the same response. That's how we were wired and made. Grown professional men are honestly, G Money. Listen, there's more than enough to go around. No one ever. I'm 38. No sense of urgency. It's not about. It's so funny, like I'm talking to men and they're like, oh, well, if you're not hot, you can't date a millionaire. Yes, you can date a millionaire. It's like, it's not that big a deal. Dated a couple this year. Like, it's not that big a deal. Of course, I'm a real estate investor, and that is my social circle are men who invest in real estate, right? So it would make sense that, like, I'm going to meet them. But it's not that big a deal. It's who you're aligned with and what your attractive powers are. And attractive powers are more than just your looks, okay? I mean, if people just go off your looks, I mean, you're not 8th grade. 8th grade boys think it's just about your looks, right? So no, there's more than enough professional men who make money or don't make money who are available. I've been dating for I don't know. It's been easy. It's not that big a deal. Women are emotional and very demanding. Tommy, women are supposed to be emotional, and what we're supposed to do is see if the men who we are linking with or who we are dating care about that or not. And this is the difference that we've lost. The prize, which is the woman, and that feeling you get when they are, is, who gets the prize is the person who responds the way you need to. And we've been rushing, and that's more of a masculine trait. The feminine trait is sitting back. I don't get what you G Money. What is switched? Because you don't think the feminine is to observe? Because here's the deal. I've studied on this. I've researched this. I don't know where you're getting your information, but not only the channeled messages I've received, not only the spiritual guidance I've received, and even the sacred knowledge that is coming forward from other people who delve into the divine feminine are very clear. So what I mean about what the feminine and the masculine is. So I would like offer you this opportunity if you think it's switched, as someone who, their life sort of revolves around this and researches it. You can go research those roles and what they're for. Because you think that, but it's incorrect. So I don't know what else to tell you. But I also know, G Money, that you probably haven't read any books on this subject nor taken the time to delve into it. Hey, Tommy, you said you explain things easier. You would like me to, or I do explain things easier? Not quite sure. I got lost in translation. I'm noticing there's a lot of men on here, which is good because you understanding the divine feminine is just as important as women understanding it, because it is a yin and a yang. One does not work without the other. We have these gender wars in the community, and it's just like, it's both of us. it's both the male and the female need to learn how to work together. We need to learn where we came from, what we have learned and need to unlearn, and give it a shot. And if you try it and it makes your life better, then keep going, right? Then you know that you hit the jackpot. All right, so that's what I wanted to say about the Divine Feminine. I'm going to do 2 other videos. One about the shift and how I am very sensitive to energy, how that's been affecting me, and it's been really weird. And also Divine Feminine and dating. I swear they really want me to talk about the Divine. I got like a whole page of notes. It was just coming through. So I'm gonna go into that because it's important that this is the energy guiding us, and if you don't know it, you're gonna be moving to it, but these are like how to nuance it so you understand why it's guiding you, where it's from, how that affects you, and what you're supposed to do with it, okay? So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much.